Hi, my name's Hazel. I'm 28 years old. Before I tell you guys about this story, I want to give you a little backstory to me, my husband, Paul, and my mother-in-law, Diane. I was born into a family where each individual's strengths were valued. So when I developed a huge interest in the art of baking, I was fully supported by my family. They encouraged me to keep practicing and would always buy me the things I needed to help me better my skills. Needless to say, I have become pretty good at baking. I never pursued it full time, but I did always make cakes and treats for family, birthdays, and family occasions. When I moved away for college to another state, I ended up baking a lot less. I mean, it's pretty hard to bake anything when all your dorm had was a microwave. Anyway, it was in college that I ended up meeting the love of my life. Paul and I met at a college festival when we were juniors. We ended up spending the rest of our time at the festival that day. Little did we know that we'd want to spend the rest of our lives together too. We got into a relationship as soon as we became seniors. We dated for a couple of years. In those years, we both managed to find jobs in our areas of expertise that paid us pretty well. When we were financially stable enough and had enough money saved, we got married. It was one of the happiest days of my life. I was sentenced to spend the rest of my life with my best friend, and nothing made me happier than that. Now, of course, with marriage came gifts. My parents were kind enough to gift us one of their many properties. It was a cute little flat that would have been perfect for Paul and me for the next couple of years. And we did stay there without any issues for the next 3 years. Having our own little place that was fully furnished helped me get back into baking. It started out small, with me just making some cupcakes and cake pops, but as family events kept coming, I kept making more desserts and treats. Pretty soon, I started receiving orders from family and some of their friends every month. It got to a point where I was struggling to juggle work and my little side business. I remember when I was really stressed, I talked to Paul about it. Lately, I've been struggling to balance my job and my little baking business. It's getting overwhelming, and I don't know how to handle it all. Oh, sweetheart, I'm here for you. Tell me everything. We'll figure this out together. I just feel like I'm running out of time and energy. My baking orders are increasing, and I want to give it my all, but work keeps demanding so much from me, too. I get it. I believe in your talent, and I know how passionate you are about baking. So what if we invest more in the business? That way you can focus on it full time. I'll support you, and we'll manage our finances accordingly. Really? You do that for me? But what about your savings and financial security? Don't worry about that. Your happiness and success mean everything to me. I want to see you thrive, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. We're a team, and together we'll make it work. It felt great to have my husband support me so much. I knew that jumping into baking and making goods from my nice, stable job was a huge risk. But I wasn't alone in taking that risk. Even though I had a lot of doubts swirling in my mind, I knew that I wasn't doing this alone. Having Paul by my side made everything seem less scary. So Paul invested the most into my business, and obviously, he held the most of the shares. The other investors were my brother and my father. They held minor shares. It felt good to have people believe in me when I was practically shaking at the thought of doing something so risky. Over the next 2 years, my business collected a lot of attention. I was smart enough to start marketing my company on the internet. I mainly used Instagram and TikTok. Thanks to my videos, I managed to gain a good amount of customers. My business started growing, and before I knew it, I had quite a bit of customers daily. Thanks to all my profits, I was able to rent out a small outlet to set up my shop and start selling my goods. As soon as the paperwork was done and the shop was set up, we inaugurated the business. In 2 weeks, we were already popular. I was making a good amount of money, but I did not let any of the progress go to my head. I made sure to always stick true to my roots and focused on producing good quality food. Paul still stood by me and would sometimes even help me around the store. I was finally able to live out my childhood dreams, and I had the perfect man by my side. I don't like to brag because I believe that it invites bad luck, but bad luck came knocking at my door anyway in the form of my mother-in-law, Diane. Diane and I used to have a pretty cordial relationship. I mean, we were never very close and always just remained civil with each other at family events. I never interpreted that to be hatred or dislike. I just thought that she took a little time to warm up to new people, so I let it be. However, as soon as Diane heard that I was going to start my own business, she began to behave more hostile towards me. She would deliberately try to sabotage me at family events. She would belittle me and make fun of me whenever she met me. Paul would always stand up for me. One time I decided to make a dessert for Diane's birthday at her house so it would be nice and fresh. However, for the split second that I looked away from the dessert, Diane entered the kitchen and added a handful of salt to the dessert. I hadn't known about it until I saw people physically gagging and throwing up the dessert. I felt horrified as I wondered what had possibly gone wrong, so I tried it too. I tasted the salt immediately and threw it out. I wanted to cry. Diane made sure to make a big scene about it too. She kept saying that this is why I shouldn't even be popular. I apologized to her profusely, but she refused to listen and kept telling everyone that I had purposely tried to sabotage her birthday. I almost left in tears. But then one of Paul's nephews spoke up. He was just a little boy of 6 years. He innocently told Diane that she was lying because he saw her put a lot of salt in the dish when I wasn't looking. Everyone looked at Diane in confusion, and Diane tried to nervously laugh it off and say that he was just a kid who was saying anything. But then the little boy started screaming that he wasn't lying and that he had seen Diane pour the salt in and stir the dessert up. I was shocked at Diane's actions. I realized then the extent that she would go to just embarrass me and put me down. Now, instead of humiliation, I felt anger. But before I could say anything, Paul approached his mother. His face was red with anger. "What's your problem with Hazel? Why do you keep trying to sabotage her and put her down?" "Oh, you're making a big deal out of nothing. She's just a simple girl with a little baking hobby. She shouldn't be as popular as she is." "She's not just a simple girl with a hobby. Hazel is talented and hardworking. She's built her business from the ground up, and it's successful because she's amazing at what she does. I'm proud of her, and you should be too." "Proud of what? That she can put together flour, eggs, and sugar? Please. Look, if you ever disrespect my wife like that ever again, I will never speak to you. I'll make you see why she's the wrong choice for you. Just wait and see." I was beyond upset and angry. Paul grabbed my hand and we left the party hand in hand. The ride back home was silent. I struggled to keep my tears in, but a couple slipped down my cheeks every couple of minutes. When we got back home, I cried into Paul's arms. I asked him what I had done to upset Diane so much. Paul assured me that I hadn't done anything wrong. He told me that his mother was just jealous of me. I told him that if she wanted, I could give her a role in my company, if that's what she wanted. Paul strictly told me not to do that because that would mean that I would leave something important in the hands of someone who wanted my business to fall. I shed because I knew that Paul had exhausted all his savings into this business. But I just wanted to do something to get Diane to like me or even just treat me with a little respect. Paul told me to never stoop so low as to get someone like his mother to respect me. He told me that I shouldn't have to do so much for her to treat me like a human being. He told me that if she pulled one more stunt, he would cut her off. I realized that what Paul was saying was true. I shouldn't have to work so hard for the respect that everyone deserves, regardless of status or gender. I knew that I wasn't going to let Diane or her actions affect me anymore. I mean, I had thousands of people praising my work, for God's sake. Why should I let her opinions of me change how I see myself and my work? I thanked Paul for his support and gave him the biggest hug. Later on that night, we heard from Paul's sister, the one whose nephew spoke up for me. She told him that their mother had called her and yelled at her for not keeping her son in check. She demanded an apology from his sister. Paul was enraged and couldn't believe his mother's audacity. His sister told him that she hadn't apologized, nor did she berate her son for speaking the truth. Paul told her that she did the right thing. After he cut the call, we decided that we would buy his nephew a little present for his good deed. The next day, I took a day off from work. I decided to buy Drew a present and spent the day with him. I picked up a Lego set that I knew he'd been wanting for a while and also some snacks. We spent the day playing around and eating a boatload of snacks. He loved the present, and we also spent some time assembling the Lego. What I'm trying to say is that I spent the entire day away from my phone because I was too wrapped up in spending time with Drew. At around 7 p.m., just as I was leaving Drew's sister's place, Paul called me. "Babe, have you checked your social media? There's something going on." "No, I haven't. What's happening?" "A bunch of people on Instagram and TikTok are complaining about your business. They're saying terrible things about the service and the prices, and even accusing you of reselling grocery store confectionery." "What? I can't believe this. Why would anyone spread such lies?" "I don't know, but we can't let the haters win. It's time to address this and set the record straight." "You're right. I'm just scared that all the hard work we put into the business will be ruined by these rumors." "We won't let that happen. We'll respond to each of these claims. Show them the truth and defend your reputation. You have a loyal customer base who knows your dedication and talent. We'll get through this together." "Thank you, Paul. Your support means the world to me. I won't let these rumors bring us down. Let's fight back and show them the real story behind the business." "That's the spirit. I believe in you, and together we'll overcome the challenge." I drove home. With a lot of plans brewing in my mind, I needed to figure out how to address the situation in the best way and reassure my customers that all the allegations and rumors were fake. When I got back home, I immediately set up my camera and started filming a video to post. I assured my customers of the quality of my food. However, for some reason, it did not help. In fact, the opposite started happening. More and more people started coming out and talking about their bad experiences with my business. I started losing a lot of customers. Along with the customers, I also started losing sleep. No matter what I did, it never seemed to help turn things around. This went on for a couple of months, and before long, I realized that I was at a serious loss and that I was drowning in debt. I was barely breaking even, when before I would make profits that were 40 times my investment. I ended up sitting Paul down and breaking the news to him. "Babe, about the business, it's not going well, and I don't know what to do. We're at a huge loss, and I've tried everything, but nothing's working. The negative comments and insults keep pouring in." "Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. This must be really tough for you. What are you thinking of doing?" "I think we have to shut down the business, Paul. It's too risky to keep going like this, and I don't want to drag us both down with it." "I'm so sorry, darling. I wish I could have done more to help." "You don't understand. I don't want you to be broke because of my dreams." "It's not just your dreams, baby. It's our dreams. We're a team, and I'll always stand by you no matter what. Money comes and goes, but our love and support for each other will remain. We'll find a way to get through this together." I couldn't believe how selfless Paul was. I always knew that I was lucky to have him, but this lucky? I never thought I would find someone as amazing as Paul, and I told him as much. I felt so grateful to have him in my life. I knew that no matter what happened, to the both of us, we'd always have each other's backs. Over the next few weeks, we began the painful process of shutting down the business, selling off the outlet, and paying off our employees and investors. It hurt to do all of that because it was essentially me setting fire to everything I had worked so hard to build. Paul was super helpful during the entire thing. He made sure that I was okay and kept me from spiraling into depression. By the time we were done wrapping up the official paperwork, it was time to celebrate Paul's birthday. However, considering how we just lost a lot of money, Paul decided that he didn't want a big celebration or a celebration at all. I tried to convince him, but he just wouldn't budge. I couldn't help but let it go. I wanted him to have a good time. I wanted to properly celebrate him, especially because he had just gone through a very hard time too. But it would be insensitive of me to go against his wish for his big day, you know? Anyways, while I was accepting, his mother, Diane, didn't. She came over to our place the night before Paul's birthday and asked him why he wasn't celebrating it like he always did. "Paul, why aren't you celebrating your birthday like you always do? My business didn't go well, so I don't feel like celebrating." Oh, come on, it's not a big deal. You shouldn't be upset about it. What do you mean? Why would you say that? Well, I may have had something to do with your business's failure. I hired people to spread fake comments and rumors about Hazel's business. Are you serious? Why would you do that? I just couldn't stand the fact that your wife was more successful than you. It's embarrassing for me to admit to my friends that she's doing better than my own son. Why would you think that way? It's not a competition between us. We're a team, and I never wanted to surpass Paul in any way. Well, in my opinion, the man should always be the one earning the most. That's an outdated and unfair view. Paul has been my biggest supporter and investor in the business. We work together, and I value him immensely. I didn't care about all that. I never bothered to ask how you started the business because I don't care enough for you. It's hurtful to hear that, but I believe you should respect me as your son's wife. Your actions have hurt Paul too. Oh, what? Did he cry because his wife was crying? That's pathetic. That's why I'm here to straighten you guys out. If you had a big enough brain to be a little open-minded, you'd realize that there was something deeper other than Paul caring for me. What do you mean? Your son invested all his savings so I could live my dreams. Your selfish and cruel actions have left Paul broke, which is why he'd rather not celebrate. I'm sorry, Paul. We don't need your apologies. Leave our home. Get out! You ruined my birthday with your selfish and toxic behavior. I can't believe you thought that it was okay to do that and brag about it to me. You're a horrible, horrible person, and I hope the worst for you. Paul, please. No, enough is enough. Goodbye, Diane. I felt no remorse for the way we made Diane feel. She ruined everything because of her ancient ideologies and toxic thought processes. I wanted her to feel the pain of losing something she loved. Paul felt the same way. He couldn't believe that his mother would go to such lengths to hurt his wife. He wanted nothing more to do with her. I can't believe what my mother did to you. I want her out of our lives for good. Thanks for standing up for me. I never expected her to go that far. It's the right thing to do. We'll rebuild and make sure nothing like this happens again. I promise to protect you and our dreams. You're incredible. I'm so grateful for your unwavering support. We'll get back on our feet stronger than ever. We'll hire a PR team and a lawyer to safeguard our business and reputation. With you by my side, I know we can face anything. I love you, baby. I love you too, darling. As time passed, we slowly got back on our feet. It was a very slow and difficult time. We had gotten too used to enjoying a lot of comfortable things. We had to give them all up so we could finally start saving. It was very hard to adjust initially, but we found a way to adjust for now. As for Diane, I have no idea what she's doing. Paul and I made sure to inform everyone about what she had done. Needless to say that the entire family on both mine and Paul's side were more than angry at her. She decided to lay low and avoid contact with any of us. I know it was difficult for Paul to cut off his own mother, but he stood firm in his decision. He also took amazing care of me and still hyped me whenever I felt too down about everything that happened. As for what's presently going on, I have started selling my desserts and treats among my family once again. I hope that this time it goes better, but that's a wish for the future. Right now, both Paul and I are focusing on healing and moving forward. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you always remember that you deserve to be treated with respect, and no matter what anyone says, you will always deserve happiness and success. Fight hard for what you love and always stick by those who love you.